Good afternoon and welcome to a webinar from Linköping University. Today we're going to talk about our master's program in Science for Sustainable Development. I'll introduce you to my guests in a minute, but my name is Therese and I'm a communications officer, and I'm going to go through a few housekeeping things before we start. As you can see on the screen, you have chat and you have questions and you have polls. Please put your questions to us in the question section. In the chat, you can, say hi to each other and where you're from and so forth. But the questions is where we will be answering questions later on. We're going to be talking for about 25, 30 minutes maybe, and then we're going to open up for questions. And this part is being recorded and will be published on YouTube later on. But the questions bit will only be for you viewers who are here live. And if you're watching this recording on the platform, that you're kind of on at the moment, those who are watching this live, you can actually ask questions later on as well, even though you're watching the recording, and those questions will be sent to us. But if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll have to get in touch with us in another way. Right, I think that was it from me. Now I'd like to hear from you guys. So maybe you can start with introducing yourselves.
Yes. Hi, I'm Lynn. A second-year master student from the Master of Sustainable Development, and I'm from Germany.
Yeah. Welcome.
And I'm Sepe. I'm the program coordinator of the master program in Science for Sustainable Development.
Excellent. Great to have you here, both of you. Let's start with talking a bit more about the program. Why do we offer it? I mean, what is the program about? Maybe you want to start saying why we established it in the first place.
Absolutely. So, as the name says, the program addresses sustainability challenges and environmental change and challenges of today's society. And as these challenges that we are facing, these are complex and multidimensional issues. So we need to deal with them in a holistic and interdisciplinary manner. And we also need to educate experts that has the analytical skills and the professional skills to deal with these multidimensional and complex questions and challenges. And that's what the program is about. So the program is offered by the Department of Thematic Studies Environmental Change at Linköping University, which has a tradition in interdisciplinary research and education, which goes back to 1980. And this tradition has been applied, implemented to design and offer this program, which look into the environmental and sustainability issues from
different perspectives. And Lynn, what attracted you to the program? Why did you choose this program?
Yeah, so I have a background in environmental and resource management. So environmental protection, sustainability was a topic which really interests me. And I think a lot of people can agree with that like Sweden as well as other Scandinavian countries are quite known to be progressive, do a lot to protect the environment, and that they're really good in the research and science behind it. So when I saw that I have an opportunity to come to Sweden, this was really attractive for me, and as well how the program was described, that it's so interdisciplinary, that there's so many different professors and researchers which are part of the program, and that it's like really changing to be like following up on all the changes which we have and what occurs in the developments on the world. So yeah.
Good. That's good to hear. I think we have a slide with the courses offered, because I think that's really interesting to see, not just the name of the program, but what you would actually study once you're here. Can you talk us through the courses?
Sure. So the content of the program, it's based on problem-oriented and socially relevant topics. And then, which is also the topics that the department works with, which is reflected in the course or the program structure. And these topics are climate change, for example. We have challenges of Earth using Earth resources. We have problems with pollutions and those that relate to environmental cycling. but also knowledge, politics, and communication of environmental and development challenges, which kind of packaged into this program, as you can see in this slide. So the program goes this 2-year master program, and the first 2 years, the first 2 semesters, we have what we call core sources, which are mandatory courses, and the 3rd semester we have electable courses, which we also call them specialization courses as well. And the last semester will be the thesis work, master thesis in science for sustainable development.
And you've changed the first and second semester since Lynn started. But I'd still like to hear, because I assume yours was similar to this, if not identical.
Yeah.
What was your first year like?
The first year was really a lot about combining all the different backgrounds that we have. Of course, like all my peers within my year, they're from all different backgrounds. We have engineers, we have backgrounds in international relations or interior architecture. So everybody has like his or her own specialty. So it was a lot about talking about frameworks, basic definitions, understandings, things which are going on, and everybody could like give his or her parts into it, so we could basically get all on the same level and can learn from each other and the parts which interests us.
And which part did you find the most interesting?
I think one of the parts which I really enjoyed was the climate science and the politics part. We still had it in one course, so it was a bit more interlinked, not more interlinked, but like more mingled. There was not that clear definition between the two parts.
No.
But yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Okay. Thanks. Sorry. Let's go back to the slide. Thank you. So we're talking about the compulsory, the mandatory courses in semester 1 and 2, and then semester 3. Are there 4, 5 different tracks, or do you kind of pick a mix?
I would say that the 3rd semester is designed in a way to give the students the opportunity to define their own profiles and skills that they would like to learn, very based on, of course, what they learned from the first year, but also based on what they are interested in to work with in the future. Because as Lynn said, so our students, they have different backgrounds and of course different interests within the sustainable development science. So, and that the semester is designed in a way that you could kind of shape your profile based on the interest, and it's usually could then be connected to the research that the students do during the master thesis.
Oh, okay. So if you do, for example, research skills in environmental science, which is roughly kind of 7 weeks, you take that course. Can you then also do an internship, or how?
So that's why it looks like different blocks, because then you could combine them together. And for example, you could decide the research skills course are the course that, for example, a student would like to learn about a specific skills. It can be an analytical method. It can be specific software which are used for data handling. It can be more going deep into the certain topic by doing the literature review. So there are a wide range of things that the students are working with during the first year, but then they could apply it or go a bit more deeper into that. And then you could decide, okay, the first 5 weeks I would like to learn these skills, but then I would like to study the visualizing sustainability challenges and pathway course, and the last part of the semester I would like to take internship. So this allows to combine it based on the need or the interest, I would say.
The interest that you have, yeah. And what about the internships? What are students, what do students do? A whole semester, or do they do half, and where do they go?
So when it comes to the internship, so we encourage the students to reach out and look for the opportunities.
They do this themselves?
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
So we don't have like a set number of internships that we can dish out. No, they have to do it themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah?
Students need to look for internship places, and they are of course, they have teachers that help them, guide them through it. We have experience on where to, for example, where to look for, or what types of tasks you may be able to do, what sort of organization you may approach, so that there will be support for the work. But then if they decide either to go half the semester, which will be like around 10 weeks, or the full semester, so then it's up to the student and also the internship place that they are.
How they do it. What are you doing in your third semester? I don't know if it's similar to what it was, but or
no, it's exactly the same structure. I'm not doing an internship, so I took some courses. I applied. This was not mentioned there, but you can as well apply to do a course or multiple courses a semester abroad. So that's as well an opportunity. And I tried to get in some courses in Gothenburg, where I just got accepted last minute, and it was a bit hard to find housing. So I decided to stay here, and I did the visualization of sustainability and sustainable pathways, and currently doing sustainability in the urban realm. And I will start research skills, or a research skill course next Monday.
Next Monday, okay.
Yes.
Have you started looking for your, or decided your final thesis?
Yes, it actually just everything settled last week by just having a good idea from a really good lecture we had from a woman presenting her master's thesis from a few years ago, which really inspired me about the depoliticization of sustainability. So,
wow, no, that sounds really interesting.
Yeah. So I will use my research skills course to kind of work on the methodology and the structure and kind of prepare for the thesis, which I think is a really good opportunity to take a bit of the stress out, which you anyways have writing your final thesis.
Yeah. And the thesis will be here with the supervisor from the department.
Exactly. Yes.
Because you can also do your thesis with industry, right?
Yes. We have certain rules that should be followed, and the students that do their master thesis within organizations or company outside the LiU, so they need to have a supervisor that makes sure the academic quality based on the criteria that we need to follow for the courses, and they usually have an industrial or second supervisor at the place. So when we had some cases, the number of cases that the students had done their internship with other organizations and companies.
And then they're based at that organization whilst they do it.
Varies, but absolutely, yes.
Yeah, they can be.
Yeah, it can be.
Okay. What would you say sets this program apart? Because I think sustainability, we have that in a lot of places. What sets it apart from other places? I mean, why did you choose this one instead of going, anywhere else?
So what I think is super special is, first of all, that it's not that much limited on experience and what you did before, but that it's kind of if you have an interest, and as you said, you can link sustainability to everything. It's kind of everybody with whatever background can have something to put on the table and thereby increase or improve the discussion and all the outcomes of research. So I really, really like this, that I have the ability to study with people from a lot of different cultural backgrounds, from different countries, from different academic backgrounds. Of course, this is super interesting, and there are things which I would not talk about, I think, in class from people who did not study interior architecture, for instance. And I think it's super interesting, the overall structure of the courses here are completely different to Germany. But I really appreciated that we have so many different lecturers who just give insights from their own research, because a lot of the professors they do their own research, so they can just come to class and be like, hey, okay, so I introduce you to this tool which I have developed, and come on, let's go to the computer lab and try it out. It makes research a bit more approachable, and it feels like I'm actually part of it, and it's not that distant.
Yeah,
in a way.
You don't just sit there and listen to somebody telling you about it.
Exactly.
You actually get to experience it yourself. What would you say from your perspective?
I would say, I think Lynn mentioned number of my points, definitely. That's the different academic background of the student. That enriches the the program, the group dynamics, and then that will kind of diffuse to every single moment in the seminars and discussions and group work. And that is something that I think it's very special that we have. But also, as I also tried to mention a little bit when I talked about the program before, so that the opportunity that you develop, the students have the opportunity to develop their own profiles. This is something that we are very proud of, and but also that will allow them, because when they're engaged with these questions, with the challenge of defining own profiles, then there comes other dimensions like self-reflections and try to be analytical, but during this process, and they will get professional help from the teachers who are experienced in the topics and have in the teaching and education as well. So these are the specialties of our program, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
In line with what Lynn mentioned as well.
Let's talk a bit about the workload and the schedule. I mean, what is it like? Is there a lot of are there a lot of lectures? Is it lab time, or is it self-study? Do you have a typical day?
No, I don't really have a typical day, which was something really new for me when I came here. Of course, my schedule every week is completely different. Like, I never have a thing like, oh, on Mondays at 8 I have lab time or whatever. It's like every week is different, so that was a change for me. But now I would say in a positive way, but in the beginning I really had to organize myself and structure myself to get the reading done on time, to hand in reflection papers before, and kind of like know until when I have to do what, as there is not this regularity of having every week the same things. But yeah, so there is a lot of self-study regarding that you get to know, or that you just work and engage with literature as a preparation for a lecture or for a seminar, which I really appreciate. Of course, you just can take your own time. You can dig into the text, take all the time you need. And it's not like under pressure that you sit in a lecture and you're like, oh, damn it, I did not get it the second. So like this preparation before, I really appreciate that. And otherwise, we have a really good mixture between you have a lecture, you have a seminar according to that, and if possible, we have lab times, or yeah, just like things to practically use what we have learned. So I would say this is really a good mixture and not too overwhelming.
Yeah, no, well, that's good. But you have to be organized. From what I hear from you is it's not overwhelming as long as you're organized.
But I would say I was not that organized in the beginning, but you kind of get used to it. You get used to it, you know, like, oh, next week I have a seminar. Okay, 2 days before I have to upload a reflection paper and have some questions prepared. It's kind of, you start to see things differently. Like, you know, if I want to be at the bus stop at 8, I have to leave 7:45. You kind of automatically see this. So it takes a bit of time to get into it, but it's, right now it sounds like it needs much more organization skills than it actually does. Just be a bit neat with your notes.
Just make sure, but just make sure, because I think it is you know, a new system, and I think a lot of people come from a different system, and kind of being aware of this, the fact that you have to do, you know, be proactive. I mean, do you have what kind of do you encounter in terms of the new students who have to kind of change into this new?
We are of course aware of it, and we try to provide a certain level of support for it throughout the program, to highlight, for example, time management or organization, documentation, certain skills. And for that, one example is that we have what we call portfolio sessions that starts, it's not attached to any course of the program, but it's a kind of series of activities which goes throughout the program, where we start and we encourage the students to kind of start reflecting on, for example, what do I need to develop during these 2 years? What do I know at this point of time? And then what do I need to develop? And we have like help for individual goal settings, and then we revisit these goals after like a year, and then we gather together and see, okay, what has happened during this year? Have I reached my goals, or have my goals changed? So, and these are supervised by the teachers and are kind of communicated. So it will happen through the reflection, discussion, and dialogue with the students.
That sounds really good. I mean, this really prepares you for working life, because that's what it will be like. So it seems it's great, lots of support, but it's still, even though you have the self-study, I mean, I need to address the part-time work question that usually pops up, because I need to emphasize that even though you might not have that much scheduled, it still requires a full-time study.
So I tried to find a job just because I'm used to do this while studying back in Germany. And first of all, it's really hard to find one when you don't speak Swedish. And not just that you can say hi and bye and how are you, but like that you properly speak Swedish. So that based on that, a lot of jobs I was not qualified for. And now I'm actually happy that I managed my way around. I had my finances fixed and everything, and that I didn't need to work. Of course, I know from some people from my program that had to work part-time because their financial situation was not that stable and they did not take care before, that they actually failed a lot of courses, specifically in the first semester, and had to retake them because they were just too busy with work and getting used to the new structure, do the new course and all the workload. So yeah, I would not recommend it to try and like rely on a part-time job while doing it. It's really, really hard.
Yeah, you should make sure, if you find something, for pocket money, maybe, but, rely. Now, I think that brings me to what skills are required from a potential student. I mean, what would you say? I mean, you're talking about different backgrounds. So academic backgrounds, it's wide variety. But in terms of other skills, I mean, if you read and write a lot, I suppose English is you need.
Yeah, but I would say that so the concepts that we have for the education is a student-centered and student active learning, and as Lynn mentioned, so it relies on the students to be proactive and take initiative, be engaged with the literature, in the group work, with the assignment, and that's actually requires motivated students. So you need to, I would say, to answer your question. So the students that are motivated and to specialize their academic profiles towards sustainability and sustainable development, and also those that are open to new ideas, are ready to take challenges and learn novel approaches to deal with environmental and sustainability issues. And as you mentioned as well, so the major part of the learning happens through interactions, through discussions, argumentation, and writing and reading in English. So it is of utmost importance to have sufficient level of English language to be able to be engaged in the education.
So make sure it's, it is, there's obviously the basic requirements, which is 6.5 for the IELTS or 90 in the online TOEFL. But I'd say be sure you're comfortable with English, not just, I managed to pass this test, for your own sake. Make sure that you enjoy reading and writing a lot, because I think that's what you do.
And I would say as well, you have to have a lot of social skills. As like Saifir said, it's a lot about seminars where you engage with your peers and the professor, and just discussions come up, and you have a lot of group work, which is really beneficial, sometimes as well stressful and frustrating, but I would say in the end, you learn a lot from people you agree with, and you learn a lot from people you disagree with, because you end up learning something. But you have to be aware that you do a lot of group work. You have to be able to handle this and be willing to be active in it.
Be active and participate. And I think that's quite a Swedish thing, this group work, emphasis on group work, that you're expected to work within this little group and be responsible for your own and the group's learning. In a way. And in a way, I think you do, you're right, you almost learn more from the people you disagree with, So it can be fun as well. Before we move on to questions, I want to hear a bit about student life.
Student life.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, as we all know, there's this COVID situation. So my first year of student life was quite limited. As we were as we're a smaller program compared to other programs, I was really lucky that I met all my peers before it switched to just having online classes. So in the beginning, I was on campus, which was really, really good. And I'm happy that I could make friends and had my small group I could meet even after classes were mostly online. Now it all gets back to life again, and that's really, really nice. So yeah, I was in a few student pubs and at parties and visited Norrköping quite often. So if you maybe not know, LiU has like 2 campuses, one in Linköping and one in Norrköping, and there's an amazing campus bus you can just take during the week for free. Yes,
so students can travel for free, because on some programs, do you have any courses in Norrköping?
Some lectures, so sometimes we have to go. But yeah.
That's
So
right, yeah.
yeah, so sometimes and it's quite, you should definitely visit both cities, I think.
So yeah, that's really nice, and as well nice to see more people on campus when you go to the library to study, or just like you see people everywhere and you see that people are really happy. Now that it's getting colder, but people are, I feel like, happy about seeing some snow.
Yeah, well, maybe at the end of the week.
Yeah,
Maybe
I'm
that's what
hoping.
they're saying. They threatened some at the weekend, but didn't happen. What about accommodation? Are you in a corridor? Or?
Yes, I'm now in a corridor. I started living in a shared apartment, which was privately, or like I found away from any housing agency. But now I live in a corridor with 7 other people. Like I have my own room, my own bathroom, and we just share a kitchen. And yeah, it's really nice.
I think I quite like the idea. I mean, it is, when it says corridor room, it is literally a corridor with 8 rooms coming off it.
Yes, exactly.
And then 1 communal room. But you have your own room, which I think it's a decent size, and you have a desk and you can study in there, and your own bathroom, which I think is quite nice.
Yeah. So
I think we should move over to questions. Thank you. I just want to hear one thing from you. Final thing. What do you wish you had known? I mean, do you have a top tip?
yes, my top tip actually links to the accommodation thing. Here in Sweden, with a lot of like housing agency as well, the ones renting the student corridors, as soon as you're thinking about applying, sign up at the website from Studentbostäder and just start to collect points, because with every day you're there, you start collecting a point, and based on that, the person with the highest points applying for the room gets the room. So that's a good thing. You don't have to pay anything. Just sign up and collect the points. And if you search for a room, try to get one which faces the south, so you get some sun in the winter.
That's a good one. Yeah, top tip. Actually, get it south facing. Does it get hot in the summer?
Yes, but it's like I prefer to suffer a bit in summer, but have some light in winter.
And
so I'm really happy about it.
Fair enough. Have a look at our accommodation pages, because this is a really good point. You can sign up even before you've applied, or if you're thinking about coming, you can still sign up and join the queue. It might not work online if you don't have a Swedish personal number.
I think it does.
Does it?
I started collecting points before having my personal number.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. I think it didn't used to. But so have a look at that and sign up. And if it doesn't work with a personal number, then email them. But it's a really good point, because it's the more points, the more choice you have.
Yep.
We're going to move over to questions. But before we do so, I'm going to round up for those of you who are watching this recording. Thank you for having watched the recording. The quickest way, if you're watching this on YouTube, to get a reply from us if you have a question is to answer a previous email that you've had from us, because that way, we will answer within a day or 2. Have a look at our social media. We have Facebook, Linköping University. We have an Instagram account that's run by students. So every week a new student takes over the account, and you get to see their life here. You get to see their tips, and they usually have Q&As and polls and so on. But it's really good. You can ask questions there as well. We also have a blog, which is blog.liu.se/ and I wait for it, International Program Students at LiU. I think our producer will put up a link for you. But again, our students write about their experience here. They give you lots of tips, accommodation tips, where to get furniture and things, how to get food on the cheap, how to structure your learning, as you said. And it's really loads. And I think we might have one student from your program writing this year. We also have podcasts. Have a look at our podcasts. Again, students talking about all kinds of things, Swedish bureaucracy, for example, so you don't have to make the same mistakes that they've made. But have a look at all those things. Connect with us. And thank you very much for having watched this and watched the recording. We're going to move over to the questions in a minute, but thank you and goodbye.